Hi, this is Claire Gilchrist, talking to you about, talking. Specifically about communication skills and speaking in public. And public, for me, is any place that isn't private. Well, go figure. But, any place that you're not having intimate chats to, say, family or friends. And any place that you really need to step up your speaking skills and sound like the consummate pro. Let's call it confidently speaking. So, defining public, we are talking about speaking in public. Let's say in front of a lot of people. You could be a speaker, for example. Office public, that's at work, in meetings, in presentations, brainstorms, crisis situations, even addressing staff. Then there's spokesperson public. That could be handling the media, doing TV or radio interviews, handling parents, for example. We also have marketing public. I would call that sales work. And even the job-seeking public. That could be interviewing to get work, for example. And any of this could be face-to-face or online, given the nature of life in the 2020s. It's always been a source of some amusement to me that we are expected to be expert communicators or public speakers, especially in front of people. As if the skill sort of automatically runs alongside the real job that we do. In actual fact, speaking with flair and skill, or confidence and strategy, and using your voice to its best advantage is a skill all of its own. It takes prep, it takes practice, and it takes some technical doing, to be able to speak in public really well, or have the facility to handle people when they need to be handled. Now, it's not difficult to become skilled, but it does take a little work, as learning any new skill would. So I so often say this to my trainees, with tongue firmly in cheek. In fact, I ask them a question, and this is what it is. I say, so would you get up and speak in public if you've never spoken in public before, just because someone asked you to? And generally they say, yes, I suppose so. We kind of do all the time. And I say, okay, here's the story or analogy. Today, your phone rings, and it's Esther Nasser, CEO of the Joburg Ballet, or Kevin O'Hare, Director of the Royal Ballet. She's in Joburg, Kevin's in London. We're just doing a little global thinking here. And either of them say to you, look, we've really had a disaster here, and we're asking you, please will you come in tonight and dance the lead role in Swan Lake? Our ballerina, our principal male dancer, has fallen ill. It needs to be you. And that's how people look at me. And I would look the same if someone asked me. So I look at them and I say, okay, would you? And they go, well, no. I say, well, why not? And they say, because I haven't been trained. I don't know how to do ballet. It's so logical. Isn't it the same with speaking? Why then would anyone risk some really important public speaking without having had at least a little training? You probably wouldn't go and run the Comrades Marathon tomorrow either without having built up at least a little suppleness and stamina. In general, you'd want to be able to come across confidently and reach your target audience in exactly the right manner or tone, no matter who they are or what situation you're in, for maximum effect. Reduce your inhibitions, think on your feet under pressure, and be able to perform in front of your peers without feeling like that fraud we so often do. Be persuasive, be able to sell products and yourself. Use language that's in complete integrity with any given situation. Sound assertive rather than passive or aggressive with the appropriate body language and gestures. Now, there's a huge difference between saying to someone, I do not agree with what you've done. Whoa, aggressive. Or saying to someone, so sorry. I'm really sorry to say this. It really, I don't know how to say this. I'm so sorry. I don't agree with what you've done. Jeepers, you could call that very passive. Instead of saying, you know what? I don't agree with what you've done. Not at all. But let's sit down and have a chat about it. Which is what you'd call assertive. Hitting the right note, here and here, is absolutely vital in terms of making the impact you want to. It's a skill. It's actually a little bit like acting. By the same token, you also want your voice to be beautifully flexible, beautifully modulated, well articulated with a good tone and great projection, because the impact you want to make is pretty reliant on that too. Do join me for another chat on Confidently Speaking, in which we will look a little further at speaking and communication as a skill.